Book of Jasher, or Sephir Yaseer, chapter 17, verse 1. And in those days, in the 91st year of the life of Abram, the children of Chittim made war with the children of Tubaal. For when the Lord had scattered the sons of men upon the earth, the children of Chittim went and embodied themselves in the plain of Canopia, and they built themselves cities there, and dwelt by the river Dibro. Where are we, and what is happening? Who are man? So there were others upon the earth, the giants of old. We would call those not Homo sapien, but Homo iberi latinium. Some like to say Neanderthal. And there were also Dene. Some like to say Denisovian as well. Now, an experiment was taking place where a high-ranking man, in tradition, he was considered God or a god by some, a king. There was very little difference between the two. Was asked by his sister to produce semen from himself and store it, and she would use it to impregnate what she considered lower life forms. So these were very likely lower life forms, not that they were not worthwhile. They were very great people in the sense of how they acted and what they were believed to be. But these were people that are now, at least, in South Africa called Khoi Khoi or Khoisan. Some people call them pygmies. And they were impregnated with the semen of Neanderthals, or maybe Denisovians, or whatever people had mixed at that point. And from their union, and why didn't the individual asked to produce semen not go into them? It is very likely that because his penis was very large and would not have fit, and also he didn't want to have sex with them. There are different traditions about why. But she took 7 of them, science calls them the 7 Eves, and impregnated them. And from them came many children. Adam and Eve are an example of that. And what is the example? There were gardens in Babylon and in other parts of the Arabian Peninsula where these people, these 7 spread around, were able to produce children, and from each other, their children produce more children, and on. And these were produced, again, to live life, to be a mixture of these tall people and these short people, these reddish-brown people and these white-skinned people, or tan people. Some of them were also brown, as later on came. And from them grew up the different tribes of men and Homo sapien men. And at some point later, after this time period here in chapter 17, so this is, again, 6,000 years ago. And this is why often the Bible counts from 6,000 years ago. The age of Homo sapien is 6,000 years. They were in Babel, and they built together, and they spoke a single language. And after they became very intelligent, very well off, very powerful, and built the Tower of Babel, their stated interest was to kill God, kill the High One, kill the king, kill the most important person, and then take over for themselves. So when they appeared to be able to accomplish it, their work was interrupted. The building, the Tower of Babel, fell, and they were taught different languages, and those people who could understand each other gathered together in new tribes and were dispersed across the earth. And I'll stop there as far as those who prefer logic and when they hear biblical stories. That is the logic version of it, and also is the Babylonian version of it. You will see possibly some of it in the Enuma Elish. Verse 2. And the children of Tubal dwelt in Tuscana. So Tiberu, Tiberias, we're talking about Italy today. Tuscana, Tuscany. And the children of Tubal dwelt in Tuscana, and their boundaries reached the river Tiberu. And the children of Tubal built a city in Tuscana, and they call the name Sabina, after the name of Sabina, son of Tubal, their father, and they dwelt there until this day. And they do. And it was at that time the children of Chittim, but this people of Tubal also now are what we call Japanese. And the emperor of Japan would be in the position of Tubal today, or in Sabina's position, since Tubal, his father, is still alive, and may he live a long life. And it was at that time the children of Chittim made war with the children of Tubal. And the children of Tubal were smitten before the children of Chittim, and the children of Chittim caused 317 men to fall from the children of Tubal. It is very likely Chittim or Kittim, Kitto or Itto, is Egypt. It's specifically the part of Egypt that is the Giza Plateau, where the great cat is, which is the Sphinx, representing Chittim, the people. And at that time, the children of Tubal swore to the children of Chittim, saying, You shall not intermarry amongst us, and no man shall give his daughter to any of the sons of Chittim. For all the daughters of Tubal were in those days fair, for no women were then found in the whole earth so fair as the daughters of Tubal. And all who delighted in the beauty of women, went to the daughters of Tubal, and took wives from them, and the sons of men, kings and princes, who greatly delighted in the beauty of women, took wives in those days from the daughters of Tubal. And even to this day, the Grand Duke of Tuscany is the Emperor of Japan. And we hope to see a future king, the daughter, possibly, of... we hope to see a future marriage between the daughter of Prince William and the son of the Crown Prince Imperial of Japan. We'll see if it happens. And at the end of 3 years after the children of Tubal had sworn to the children of Chittim not to give their daughters for wives, after 20 men of the children of Chittim went to take some of the daughters of Tubal, but they found none. For the children of Tubal kept their oaths not to intermarry with them, and they would not break their oaths. And in the days of harvest, the children of Tubal went into their fields to get in their harvest, when the young men of Chittim assembled and went to the city of Sabina, and each man took a young woman from the daughters of Tubal, and they came to their cities. And the children of Tubal heard of it, and they went to make war with them, and they could not prevail over them, for the mountain was exceedingly high from them. And when they saw they could not prevail over them, they returned to their land. And at the revolution of the year, the children of Tubal went and hired about 10,000 men from those cities that were near them, and they went to war with the children of Chittim. All right, get them. And the children of Tubal went to war with the children of Chittim to destroy their land and to distress them. And in this engagement, the children of Tubal prevailed over the children of Chittim. And the children of Chittim, seeing that they were greatly distressed, lifted up the children which they had by daughters of Tubal upon the wall which had been built to be before the eyes of the children of Tubal. And the children of Chittim said to them, Have you come to make war with your own sons and daughters? And have we not been considered your flesh and bone from that time till now? And when the children of Tubal heard this, they ceased to make war with the children of Chittim, and they went away. And they returned to their cities, and the children of Chittim at that time assembled and built 2 cities by the sea. And they called one Burtu, and the other Ariza. And Abram, the son of Terah, was then 99 years old. At that time the Lord appeared to him, and he said to him, I will make my covenant between me and thee, and I will greatly multiply thy seed. And this is the covenant which I make between me and thee, that every male child be circumcised, thou and thy seed after thee. At 8 days old shall it be circumcised, and this covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And now therefore thy name shall no more be called Abram, but Abraham. And thy wife shall no more be called Sarai, but Sarah. For I will bless you both, and I will multiply your seed after you, that you shall become a great nation, and kings shall come forth from you. On circumcision. There is a method that when a boy is born, there is a small ring that a doctor can place on his penis, and it causes the very delicate flesh of the foreskin to fall away after a number of days naturally on its own. Similar to the cuticles of your nails, if you've ever gotten a manicure or cut your own nails, you'll notice that there is a rough set of skin surrounding your fingernails. That skin is very similar to a baby's foreskin, and it is not uncommon to take a nail clipper and clip it away. But this device will naturally distress the skin and cause it to fall away after a normal period of time without taking a knife to the penis, which unfortunately there are very few qualified people to do. So I recommend for those who practice circumcision, for those who descend from Abraham, and well, Father Abraham has lots of people, not just the people of Israel, that you ask for this small device to be placed on the end of your son's penis, and then the circumcision is possible. Why is circumcision so important? Babies tend to wear diapers, and boys wear underwear, and men may or may not wear underwear or boxers. to hold up their scrotum and their penis in one place. Also, it delays the ability to have children until you're ready. Uh, as a result of that, the cotton or other material, sweat, and a number of other and some bacteria can develop before the child is taught to clean himself. And there are times when it can develop in such a way that it can cause soreness or redness. These are possible if you have a way that your family has taught someone who is uncircumcised to clean himself. Then that's great. That's different. But we're talking about the average person upon the earth. And from this time, it was said that it was better for a man to be circumcised, because if a penis that is uncircumcised and may have a bacterial collection, even if it's not infected, were to enter a woman, her vagina, then he could cause her to have an infection. And so this was an early medical reasoning behind circumcision. And again, this little O-ring could be used even at that time period. So it is possible that for babies from that time period, they just used a little ring. I think it's just a little smaller or fitted a little smaller than the penis itself, but I'm not sure. So you want to ask a doctor. Whereas for the men, they did need to slowly, possibly, though some people did it more quickly, circumcise themselves by cutting back the foreskin. What is the foreskin? I don't know. So this is something that you would have to also ask a doctor how much of it can be cut away without difficulty, if any at all. Some people are born in a way where they appear not to have a foreskin. So this is a natural setting. But this was a medical concern to help people live longer and have less penis to vagina difficulties or infections. And it's very likely because up until this time period, men did not enter a woman with their penis. What used to happen when women controlled the earth, and they did for many, many millennia, if not longer, they would ask men to provide seed, just as you would take seed from a piece of fruit or another a plant. They would ask men to provide seed, and then they would plant that seed into a woman, and the woman then would grow a child and give birth. Men and women didn't have sex with each other in many cultures. And so this is a time when Abraham is given permission to have sex with women for a penis to enter a vagina. End of chapter 17.